We leave our own stories behind to immerse ourselves in the stories of others. It's as if each TV series or movie dictates situations that are adverse to our reality, and the more contrary they are to our own, the more fascination and enhancement they can generate. But is it okay to feel shaded? Is it okay to want to escape our problems, to go to other worlds, and turn our attention to the problems of others? Alright, man, plots. The plot of a character who is different, distinct, embody, presence, and personification. The more entertaining, the more intriguing, the more our dopamine and serotonin must feel. The more our emptiness of not wanting to belong is satiated. The more hunger for not wanting to feel is satiated. But aren't we all part of a blood? Blood without meaning, without reason, without emotion. Or should I say, plots. Every day has an ending, and each ending is different. And the meaning that dominates us tends to vary or tends to change as we please. We feel isolated, lost, trapped, betrayed, forgotten, and caught up in a kind of routine loop that everything and mostly everywhere repeats itself over and over again. Could it be that if our story were portrayed to others, it would become an interesting plot worth recommending? Perhaps when it premiered, we will read the reviews and realize that many plots aren't seen as unique or fascinating. We even get bored within 30 minutes of its beginning. So why do we judge others' plots with such a critical eye? That writer whose work culminated after a 10-year journey finally glimpses a timely premiere, which was once late and distant. This person will feel excitement, disdain, an emotional slump, or a lurch in his stomach, so that one day, perhaps, all that hard work of years will be destroyed by many people. By one who every day after work comes home, turns on the TV, and eats last Tuesday's leftovers. Or Letitia, who after studying sociology comes back every day to talk with a friend online. Or perhaps Brenda, who's hanging out with her friends, and when she gets home, she feels an emotional void from not knowing how to be alone. Is our story worth telling, or are we worthy of judging the plots of others in such a constructive manner sometimes? The answers may change, as may the stories to be told. It seems that we're not interesting, completable, or capable enough. But it's not a deficient reason, nor is it a cause of permanent complexes. If you were Jew, that's the rebellion that will likely get people talking. There's no better plot than the one you're living or maybe wanting to live. How has your character's development been so far? How has the environment you're in changed? Are you still where you started? Or do you feel like you haven't been able to move forward? Is your life story worth telling? If so, how many stars would it received? Or would you give to it? What will be the rating for your own story? Are we all lost in time, space, and scenery? Or are we actually building up the scenes every day without even knowing? Because we build the scenes every day, and we also tend to open our eyes without even knowing. That's going to be another page in our book. A book that turns out to be your life story. But who's going to read that book, right? Who's going to read all those pages? Who's going to review everything and make something with it? Are we in watch? Are we going to be watched? Are we going to be read? Is somebody there that is going to watch us all while we do our work? Maybe afterwards, after we just say goodbye to the war and go to another universe, perhaps, right? What are we going to tell to yourself if we ever get to see our story in retrospective? What would you do if you were able to open your own book about your life, about the things that you did in this one? What would you say to yourself? You said like, whoa, this is like pretty interesting. I'm going to give this the best rating I could give. What's a recommendation? I'm going to write one. Or you say to yourself like, hey, I've been doing some kind of things that I don't know how I got there, but something needs to change really, really fast because I don't know the story I've been telling to whoever is going to read this, even myself. Because so far, as I'm conscious about it, I haven't been pretty grateful about stuff or pretty aware of something else about the problems, the circumstances, the emotional baggages, or maybe the happiness, the time, and joy I've been feeling so far. Not as much as I could have been. Just we're aware of it. But so far, we tend to judge others' plots because somehow we want to create that kind of entertainment in others. We want stories worth telling. We want stories out of the ordinary spectre. We want things worth telling others. But do you think that your story is worth telling? Do you think it would be perhaps what if somehow also ordinary stories are worth telling? There's a movie I like that some people might say that it is slow, but I think it reflects a lot about everyday life. Not because the story is boring or is slow, doesn't mean it isn't a reflection of someone's life. Our lives can be bored, but doesn't mean they are less valid and fantastic fictionary ones. Yes, we all love to dream and have imagination. We all love to have things, our space and time, and things that can challenge us to think more, to think outside our box. But that box tends to be our daily life, our daily routines, what can we actually understand for our human brains. That is why we tend to more it gets boring, as not worth telling, as not worth watching. Hey, your life is also okay, you know? Our life, the majority of us that we are living in spaceships are worth telling. That doesn't mean that you or anybody who's writing any other movie or series are living a life that is also valuable. And I wanted to make this point because the more I see like fiction, everything related to things that can be portrayed in on a human imagination type of landscape, more than I think to myself, hey, probably have if we can be watching something a bit more attached to the majority of our realities, we might be bored. But that doesn't mean that you're actually bored. We're actually doing something that isn't worth living. But what do you think? Let me know.